Hello, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. Lim Guan Eng took a swipe at Muhyiddin today for citing the latter's wife as a reason for backtracking on his decision to not defend the Bersatu presidency next year.
DAP chairperson Lim Guan Eng has taken a swipe at Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin over the latter flip-flopping on his retirement plans. In a post on Facebook, Lim chided Muhyiddin for citing his wife in justifying a U-turn to not defend the Bersatu presidency next year. He said, as leaders, we make decisions and are responsible for those decisions, and Muhyiddin should give reasons that are reasonable instead of putting the blame on his wife. Lim added that a leader needs to keep to their word, citing how his father, Lim Kit Siang, stuck by his decision to retire. Responding to Lim, Bersatu's Taman Medan Assembly person Dr. Afif Bahardin said that Muhyiddin was still wanted by the party, unlike the DAP chairperson. Dr. Afif said many in DAP would be elated if Lim retired, especially Penang DAP chief Chow Kon Yao. He was referring to purported animosity between Lim and Chow, who succeeded him as Penang chief minister. On Friday, Muhyiddin told the Bersatu annual general meeting that he would not be defending his post when the party holds elections next year. However, the Supreme Council and delegates at the AGM rejected his decision. The next day, Muhyiddin announced a change of heart, citing how his wife told him not to turn his back on the party after seeing their support for him.
Khairy has hit out at Pakatan Harapan, saying it is making the same mistakes as BN. He also hit out at the government for failing to keep up to its promises.
Khairy Jamaluddin has hit out at Pakatan Harapan, saying it is committing the same mistakes that Umno-BN did when the latter was in power. On its latest episode of the Keluar Sekejap podcast, the former UMNO leader pointed out that the unity government, in its 1 year in administration, has not met the people's expectations. He cited the poor performance of the ringgit and the rising cost of living as examples of the external challenges faced by the rakyat.
Saya tengok sekarang ni Syaril, mereka buat kesilapan yang sama yang mungkin dahulu dibuat oleh kami dalam Barisan Nasional dengan mengatakan bahawa kenapa nak komplain? Kadar inflasi rendah. Kenapa nak komplain? 3 suku berturut-turut GDP naik. Dan mereka membuat kesilapan yang sama, iaitu mereka ingat bahawa angka-angka yang abstrak ini adalah apa yang orang rasa di lapangan. Tapi sebenarnya seperti mana yang kita tahu, angka dengan apa yang orang rasa di lapangan ni adalah jauh beza.
Khairy and his co-host Sharil Hamdan were talking about the first year anniversary of Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's administration, which both of them dubbed as great on show but short on performance. He also slammed the coalition government for failing to keep up to its promises and using poor justifications for its shortcomings. This included the separation of powers between the Prime Minister and Finance Minister, and the Sedition Act is still being used for political purposes when it was previously promised it would only be used for statements against the royalty. Khairy also touched on Anwar holding the position of Finance Minister, saying what they used to attack former Premier Najib Abdul Razak with, now it is suddenly all right for Anwar to do. While pointing out that the government's performance is not disastrous, he said it can be better and suggested Anwar to implement a Madani KPI to grade the performance of the cabinet members, akin to the one implemented by Pemandu during Najib's time.
Still on Khairy, the former health minister has criticized the government for missing a landmark legislation for public health. This came after the government dropped the GEG provisions from the revised Control of Smoking Products for Public Health Bill.
Khairy Jamaluddin has lamented the removal of the generational endgame provisions in the revised Control of Smoking Products for Public Health Bill, calling it a sad day. In a post on his Instagram story, he also sarcastically congratulated the big tobacco and vape industry, claiming that the latter had won. Khairy, when he was the health minister, had crafted the GEG bill that will prevent anyone born from 2007 onwards from buying tobacco or nicotine products, giving the bill its GEG moniker. Khairy said he had crafted GEG for public health, and the bill that he brought to Parliament, which contained the GEG and measures to regulate vape sales, received support from the public health community, who wanted vape to be banned. However, he said they managed to find a middle ground which included the GEG provisions, and now those have been dropped. Yesterday, Health Minister Dr. Zaliha Mustafa said the AGC's view that the previous bill was unconstitutional was the sole reason behind the GEG provisions being dropped from the revised bill. According to the new version of the bill that was tabled for the first reading yesterday, it prohibits the sale of tobacco products, smoking substances or substitute tobacco products or providing any services for smoking to a minor. Zaliha, however, gave assurance that the GEG clause would not be forgotten and was merely being put aside to focus on the current revised bill. She added, if there is a need to re-look at the GEG provisions and there is a need for it, they will bring it back.
DAP's family conspiracy was back in the limelight today with 3 leaders filing defamation suits against Siti Mastura.
3 DAP leaders have filed defamation suits against past lawmaker Siti Mastura Muhammad. This is over her allegations that they have blood ties with the communists and a former Singapore PM. DAP chairperson Lim Guan Eng, his father Kit Siang and Batu MP Teresa Kok filed the civil actions at the Georgetown High Court 2 days ago. When contacted by Malaysia Kini, their counsel Sangkaranaya confirmed that copies of the lawsuits are in the process of being served on Siti Mastura. The 3 lawsuits are over the Kepala Batas MP's speech at a Kemaman by-election campaign event on November 4th. In her speech, Siti Mastura had claimed that the 3 DAP leaders were related to Communist Party of Malaya leader Ong Boon Hua, popularly known as Chin Peng, and Singapore's first Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew. The trio are seeking general, compensatory, aggravated and exemplary damages as well as an injunction to restrain Siti Mastura from further uttering the allegation. They claimed that her public statement was not only untrue but made with malice to imply that they sought to undermine Malaysia's democratic process and national security. The trio alleged that her words implied that they posed a threat to Islam and the future of the country. They also claimed that she implied that there existed an ethnic Chinese conspiracy between Singapore and Malaysia, which is detrimental to the security and democracy of Malaysia.
The Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court will continue to hold on to Muhyiddin's passport. The court this morning dismissed Muhyiddin's bid for the permanent release of his passport.
The Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court has allowed a temporary release of former Premier Muhyiddin Yassin's passport from today until January 15th next year. However, they dismissed Muhyiddin's bid for it to be permanently returned. During open court proceedings today, Judge Azura Alwi said that Muhyiddin needed to present more concrete reasons for amending his 2 million ringgit bail conditions than just citing a Kuala Lumpur High Court ruling that quashed the 4 abuse of power charges against him. Azura said this is especially so when the reasons cited by Muhyiddin for permanent release of his passport are for a family holiday and medical travel, which the accused can just apply for a temporary return of the travel document. The judge also pointed out that Muhyiddin still had 3 pending money laundering charges and that the accused's bid to nullify the 3 charges has yet to be heard. Muhyiddin had requested a permanent release of his passport for the purpose of a family holiday in London and medical checkup in Singapore at the end of this year. He had previously said that the 2 million ringgit bail amount he has posted is sufficient to ensure his presence in court. In addition, Muhyiddin added that he also has the responsibility as an MP to serve his constituents.
Fahmi has clarified that Bersatu's Bukit Gantang MP pledged support for Anwar on his own free will. He said this while dismissing rumours over the matter.
Bukit Gantang MP Syed Abu Hussein Hafiz Syed Abdul Fasal pledged his support to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim on his own free will. This is according to Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadzil. Bernama quoted Fahmi as saying that the Pakatan Nasional MP was not coerced in any way to give his support. He also denied claims that Syed Abu Hussein was on board with the government as he received an additional allocation of 30 million ringgit for his constituency, which he allegedly requested. Fahmi said Syed Abu Hussein is not getting 30 million ringgit allocation and what he probably meant was the prioritizing of certain initiatives and projects to resolve long-standing problems in his constituency. Fahmi also denied claims made by former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today that there were elements of bribery in the sudden change of support by the 5 Bersatu MPs. He said Mahathir, as the opposition advisor, would have been better off advising MPs under his purview to engage in negotiations with Deputy Prime Minister Fadila Yusof regarding the allocation of funds to opposition MPs. Yesterday, Syed Abu Hussein Hafiz had openly pledged his support to the Prime Minister and the Madani government. He is the fifth Bersatu MP to pledge support after Jeli MP Sahari Kecil, Gua Musang MP Muhammad Azizi Abu Naim, Kuala Kangsar MP Iskandar Zulkarnain Abdul Khalid, and Labuan MP Suhaili Abdul Rahman.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.